We're gonna start this lecture with kind of a puzzle. Let's say there are two countries, country A and country B, and the initial population in each country is going to be 1,000. However, each year, 10% of the population from country A is going to migrate to country B, and then 30% of the people in country B is going to move to country A. So what that means is out of this 1,000 people, 100 will move to country B, and out of this 1,000 in country B, 30%, which is 300, will move to country A. So what that means is in the next year, country A is going to have 1,000 minus 100 that moves out plus 300 that moves in, and that is going to be 1,200. And in country B, I'm gonna have, let's see, 1,000 minus 300 that moves out plus 100 that moves in. So that is going to be 800. And if we do the same following years, out of this 1,200, 120 will move to country B, and out of this 800, 30%, which is 240, will move to country A. So in the following year, in country A, I'm gonna have 1,200 minus, let's see, 120 and then plus 240. So I'm gonna get 1,320. And then in country B, I'm gonna have 800 minus 240 and then plus 120. And that is going to give me 680. And the question asks what's gonna happen to the population in each country in the long run. And if we look at the trends that we have so far, it seems like the population in country A is increasing and the population in country B is decreasing. So we could probably guess that in the long run, it might be that everyone is gonna just move to country A. So I'm gonna have 2,000 people in country A and then no one lives in country B. But in fact, this could not be right because what in the following year, I'm gonna have 10%, which is 200 moves out to country B and then no one moves to country A. So country A in the following year will have 1,800 and then in country B, I'm gonna have 200. So this could not be the right answer. Now let me actually kind of move this aside. You can think about this for a moment, but for now, let me actually try to solve this in Python. So I'm gonna let my A be the array. I'm gonna let A be numpy.array. And then I'm actually just gonna put in the population in country A and country B here. So initially, I'm gonna have 1,000. So this means I have 1,000 people in country A and then 1,000 people in country B. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a new row to this. And the command to that is gonna be numpy.append. I'm gonna append my array A from earlier, and then I'm gonna append with my new entry, which I have computed to be 1,200 and 800. However, if I just do this, what Python is gonna do is that it's just gonna add this 1,200 and 800 to the end of my list, and this is a little hard to read. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add an option, which is axis equal to 0. And let's see what happened here. So what I'm looking at is the first column is gonna be the population in country A. The second column is gonna be my population in country B. Initially, I have 1,000 each, but then in the next year, I have 1,200 and 800. So if I just copy and paste this thing, and then the next row will be 1,320 and then 680. Okay, this looks good. So for now, I just have to automate this population thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run a for loop. So I'm gonna start off with the same matrix A, and then let's see kind of what will happen in 100 years. So I'm gonna let I run from 1 to 800. Now I'm gonna let A be the population in the country A in the next year, and I'm gonna let B be the population in country B in the next year. But let me actually leave that for now. So my matrix A is gonna be just the append thing. So let me actually just copy and paste what I have from earlier. So from year to year, my little a and my little b is going to be the population in country A and in country B in the following year. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add that to my matrix A. And then I'm going to print out this matrix A. Now, let me go back and see what this A and this B is going to be. Well, if I have the population in country A and country B, the population in country A in the next year is just going to be 0.9 times the population in country A in the last year, and that is going to be just A times I and 0. Remember again that in Python the index starts with 0, so this is going to be my column 0 and this is going to be my column 1. So the number of population in country A is just going to be 0.9 times population in country A last year plus 0.3 times the population in country B last year. So that's going to be 0.3 times A and then I1. Okay. And for B, the population in country B is going to be 0.1 times the number of population in country A from last year. So that's going to be A times I0 and then plus 0.7, which is the number of populations that remain in country B. So that's going to be 0.7 times A and then I1. Okay, let's see what will happen. But something doesn't look right. Let's see what I have. Oh, actually, this is already right. This is the end of my array. So yeah, I start off with 1,000 people, and then in the next year I have 1,200 and then 800. So this is the same number that we see. And then for the next year we have 1,320 and 680. So this is the number that we see. And then Python keep doing that for me. And you can kind of see that in the end, the number that we have here, it kind of goes toward 1,500 and 500. And then there is some rounding, but in the end, after 100 years, it seems like the number of population will remain stable at 1,500 and 500, 1,500 and 500. This number 1,500 and 500 here is called the stationary state. So it's basically a state that remains unchanged. And to see why that makes sense, let's say if I have 1,500 people in country A and then 500 people in country B. So what's going to happen in the next year is that 10% of people in country A is going to move to country B, so that's going to be 150. And then 30% of the people in country B is going to move to country A, but 13% of 500 is going to be just 150. So actually the same number of people go from country A to B and go from B to A, so in the end the number of population here actually remains unchanged. So in the long run, there will be 1,500 people in country A and then 500 people in country B.